What up guys, Ali here, and welcome to the channel. Now before I get started, make sure to add me on IG at alitalksmusic, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. In 2005, Mark Hill, a UK producer, released his debut album called Better Luck Next Time. It contained a song called Young and Foolish, featuring an up-and-coming R&B singer known as Corinne Bailey Rae.
There was nothing I could say. I didn't know why you asked me. You're gonna do it anyway.
That collaboration was the light that revealed her talent and gave her the attention from major record label bosses. The stage was set, and the world was getting ready to experience a new sound. Before reaching mainstream success, Corinne Bailey Rae was just an aspiring singer whose love for music grew in the church. Later on in life, Corinne went on to form an indie group which she called Helen. The group was able to gain a solid local following, which brought more publicity and exposure to the young artists. While the group was on the come up, they performed and did so many gigs around Leeds. As they did gigs, they had their eyes out for a record deal, but couldn't seem to land one no matter how hard they tried. Eventually, they got lucky in the late 90s as a US-based heavy metal record label with the name Roadrunner Records came to them with a record deal. However, the deal fell through in the end. Everything from that moment went bleak for the group. Slowly, they began losing momentum, and the final blow that brought the end for them was when one of her group members got pregnant. Helen as a group went under after that. The group dissolving left Corinne in a state of confusion for a while. When she eventually got her mind straight, she decided to pursue a degree in English language and literature at the University of Leeds. During her university years, Corinne met her future husband, Jason Rae, a saxophonist for an 8-piece group called Haggis Horns. Corinne and her husband later got married after Corinne graduated from the university. After she got married, she gradually cut ties with her indie past and rock in general and started pursuing a different sound, this time focusing on a more soulful path. Corinne did various collaborations between 2003 to 2004, but as mentioned earlier, her breakthrough came when she scored a deal with Global Talent Publishing. Soon after that, she was signed to the label and working with Mark Hill. From that moment on, she was set to become a star and became one. Recently, Corinne is less active than she once was when her album came out. She has dropped a few projects over the years, but none have come close to the success of her debut. So the question is, what happened to Corinne Bailey Rae?
It feels great to play in America. I mean, we only were there a few months after I put the record out in England, so I feel like all of the stuff that's happening, all the work that I've done in Europe, in America, and recently in Japan, it all feels part of the same project, getting to visit people and to play my music to people who appreciate it, so I love it.
After getting signed, it was time for Corinne to show and prove, and she did just that, releasing her debut single called Like a Star. The first release of the single was a limited edition and only 3,000 copies were issued. It did well commercially, debuting at number 34 on the UK singles chart. Due to its good reception, it was re-released around 2006 and it did a little better than the first release. Eventually, Like a Star became a hit, not just in the UK, but also in the United States. Sales kept growing till it maxed about 327,000 US downloads and spilling over afterward. The single was nominated Song of the Year at the 50th Grammy Awards after it did well internationally. It was spotted on the US Billboard Hot 100 at the 56th position and number 6 on UK's R&B charts. After the success of her first single, Corinne didn't stop there and released another single titled Put Your Records On. The song was magic, and I'm pretty sure Corinne didn't expect what would happen next. It changed her life. The single Put Your Records On was a chart-topping success. At the time of its release, it topped the UK R&B charts, although it fell a step shy from becoming number 1 on the UK singles chart. The song went on to become Corinne's biggest hit to date. She released 2 other singles from the album before it came out. This includes Trouble Sleeping and I'd Like To, which both fared well commercially. Finally, in early 2006, she released her debut album called Corinne Bailey Rae. The warm reception this album got made it go worldwide. It debuted at the #1 spot on the UK albums chart, selling 108,181 copies in its first week in the UK. Internationally, the album peaked at number 17 on the Billboard 200 and sold about 40,000 copies in the first week. Corinne Bailey Rae had finally achieved the success that she was looking for. The thing I like about this record is there are some songs that would be quite comfortable under an indie banner like Show Pastry Heart or even Like a Star, but then there are songs that are more influenced by soul music and some that are a bit more unusual, kooky, jazzy. Corinne Bailey Rae's first album sales kept increasing until it was certified triple platinum around 2013. It was certified platinum again by the RIAA after selling 1.9 million copies in the US alone by January 2010. The success of the project was a good look for Corinne. She began working on her second album the year after her album was released, partnering with her husband in the writing and recording process. The public was waiting for another string of hits from Corinne, but 2 years after that, nothing was heard from her. She went on a musical hiatus. Around 2008, while in a taxi one morning, her phone rang. After getting off the phone and listening to the voice on the other end, she was instantly bewildered because she found out that she had lost her husband, Jason Rae. Jason Rae passed away in a friend's flat around 2008. The coroner's court announced Jason's death as one due to misadventure. In summary, a huge dose of methadone and alcohol was found in his system. At the end of the day, Corinne's husband was very instrumental in the success of his wife. He was her muse. And after his death, Corinne didn't know how long she'd survive without him. I remember thinking, I've had a really good run. I'm 29 and I've got to have this deep romance. That's more than a lot of people have, so I'm really lucky. But at the same time I thought, how am I supposed to survive the stretching decades?
I guess just after Jason passed away, I just think of sort of silence. I just think of sort of stillness and silence. It was sort of, very much the sort of end of, at that time I thought it's like the end of my life, and now I can see it was the end of this phase of my life, but at the time it just felt like sort of everything had stopped.
It wasn't until around 2010 before she found her feet again. She found it hard to talk about Jason's death in interviews and had stayed away from the public eye for a while. She had described that period as being blank, implying that something was missing in her life. Corinne went through a time when she didn't have any inspiration to make music. She would try to make music and a song would form in her head, but she couldn't find a way to turn it into something of substance. I was playing my guitar always and singing out my feelings, but it was just a big mess. All hope wasn't lost for Corinne as she eventually found love again in 2013. She married jazz musician and producer Steve Brown, who happened to be her longtime friend and musical partner too. Eventually, she found herself again and went back to record more songs to the ones already recorded before Jason's death. In early 2010, 4 years after the release of her first album, her second album, The Sea, was born. The album featured tracks written before and after the death of Bailey Rae's husband. It was released by Virgin Records and became yet another critical success. The Sea, which was themed around love, lament, and solace, debuted at number 5 on the UK albums chart and number 7 on the US Billboard 200. By April of the same year, it had sold 156,000 copies in the US. In order to promote the album, Bailey Rae also went on tour. She visited the UK, the United States, Japan, Korea, Singapore, Brazil, Argentina, and the Middle East. By doing so, she was able to build and maintain a following overseas. As far as the UK charts go, the album sold about 23,000 copies in the first week, and by the end of May 2010, it had sold about 100,000 copies in the UK alone. The following year, Bailey Rae came up with an EP entitled The Love EP. It featured 5 love songs, which she did covers of. When it was released, it debuted at number 86 on the Billboard 200 in the US. Corinne saw nothing but success, because later that year, the first single off the EP, Is This Love, originally done by Bob Marley, won a Grammy Award for Best R&B Performance at the 54th Grammy Awards. Corinne was winning musically. Her comeback was obviously a good one until everything went blank once again. Around 2013, Corinne got married to a close friend of hers, Steve Brown, and became a mother as a result. It's so funny when you know someone already. You know their ex-girlfriend and the one before that. And you know their failings and flaws. It was very gradual falling in love with him, like the volume being turned up. It's so heady and overwhelming. It wasn't until around 2016 when Bailey Rae came out with a sneak peek of her new single, Been to the Moon.
I've been to the moon, don't tempt me. I've been where you are.
The single became the lead single to her third album, The Heart Speaks in Whispers.
excited to say that my new album is coming out. It's out on the 13th of May, and it's called The Heart Speaks in Whispers. I hope you like it.
Upon its release, it debuted at number 3 on Billboard's R&B chart, number 14 on UK's album chart, number 31 on Billboard's 200, and number 3 on the UK R&B albums chart. The album sold about 14,000 copies in the first week. Evidently, Corinne Bailey Rae has made an impact on music, so much so that other artists are now taking inspiration from her. Around 2020, Red Momney released his own version of Corinne Bailey Rae's single, Put Your Records On. You know the songs that you just have memorized your whole life? It was totally one of those songs for me. My mom really loves that song. Around when it came out, she'd play it all the time. It reminded me of riding in the back of my mom's minivan and a much simpler time. It has always been the epitome of a joyful, hopeful song for me. Now the song became a TikTok hit and made Rit more popular than ever. Things looked good for the young artist. However, when the song came out, he got criticized for appropriating and diminishing the work of black artists. You mean Corinne Bailey Rae? Stop discrediting black women. Corinne gets about 5 million monthly listeners on Spotify, and her most popular songs on the platform include Put Your Records On, Like a Star, The Scientist, Is This Love, Until It Happens to You. Corinne is still very active and recording and has managed to stay very relevant despite her shortcomings, and that's more than what can be said for a lot of other artists. Corinne is a mother now, so she has more responsibilities besides making music and being an entertainer. Now, I'm not saying her responsibilities as a mother has taken over her work, because Corinne is still very active. Before COVID, she was still touring, doing performances, so it's safe to say that Corinne Bailey's career is still in a good position to this day.
You have to work on that. What are you thinking about when you're forming that angelic tone?
Oh, thank you. I feel like I'm kind of stuck with my voice. You know, it really has dictated the sort of songs I can sing, or my performance, or what I write, or because I feel like it just comes out this way, and I, you know, I didn't like it when I was younger. I used to find it too scratchy and too small. I used to wish I had this really big voice, and but you know, once I sort of got into it and used to it and just accepted it, then you know, I've really enjoyed being able to sing since then.
That's it for me, man. It's your boy Ali. What happened to Corinne Bailey Rae in your opinion? Let me know down below. If you have a video request, be sure to let me know down below on Instagram at alitalksmusic. New What Happened to video dropping next week. Till next time, peace.